Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. Today's webinar is going to be on surveys and analytics. Just to start off with, I'm going to introduce everybody here today. My name is Gary Mello and I'm a sales representative here at Member365. Joining me today is the lovely Katya Els. She's our copywriter here. She's also the one that's going to be monitoring that chat area at the bottom right-hand corner of Adobe Connect. So if you have any questions, go ahead and write them in there and we're more than happy to address those at the end of the webinar. Don't worry about taking any notes during the duration of this webinar. We're going to be recording it and posting on YouTube for you to view later as well. So in terms of our agenda for today, what we're going to cover is we're going to start by showing you how to create a survey or a voting form within Member365, how your members or non-members are going to be able to access that form, fill it out, and then back on the administrative side, how you're able to access the analytics that come along with the completion of that survey and where that information is going to be logged. So to start off with today, we're going to begin in the member portal area or the administration portal area of Member365 on the administration dashboard. Anytime that you're looking to create a survey or a new vote, you're going to go up to the upper left-hand side of the top row under modules to surveys and voting right here. Under this module, you're gonna have the ability to create both surveys and votes. And the main difference between the two is that survey, all the data that's collected is tied back to a contact record, whereas votes are anonymous. So if you're doing any board voting or awards nominations. For today's example, I've actually gone and created a survey already called the Member365 Conference Survey. And the situation that this is going to represent is when you've had a large gathering or event, let's say it was last week we had a conference, and we now want to follow up a week later and collect some information and some feedback from those who attended that event. Regardless of whether you're building a survey vote, what you're going to start off with is this initial name and category information. So the name of the survey here, the category, which is going to be under event. In order to find these surveys and sort them easier, you can also do subcategories to really drill down on that. If this is only going to be available and you want to collect results at a certain date, you can set open and close dates. Next step of the process is going to be creating the messages that go along with accessing the survey. So when somebody clicks on and they want to start filling out that survey, you're going to have a welcome message and instructions for what you want to fill them out. That's where you're going to build this message right here. So our message would love to get some feedback. Please fill out the following survey. And once that survey is committed, you want to thank your members for taking the time to complete that for you. So thank you for responding. We value your feedback. In order to actually build out those different survey questions, you're going to use our question editor. So this is a drag and drop tool that allows you to have text input areas, date pickers, large memo sections, email address confirmations, file uploads, multiple choice, and drop down questions. So I've pre-populated this demo with a few different questions here. The first one being a drop down menu of how many years have you attended the conference in the past? So I've pre-populated with a couple of options. Next is a radio button area. So this is what was your favorite part of this year's conference, with a number of different options about the speaker, an outing that happened. Third question is going to be suggestions from your members on what they would like to see at next year's conference. So this is going to be an open-ended question where there'll be a large memo area to collect that information. And finally, a lot of organizations want to collect pictures that happen at their large events. So the form and file upload area is going to be a great way for you to get your members to go and upload any files or photos that they took during the conference that happened, whether it's through their phone or their personal camera here. So once we've created those questions, next step is going to be determining who has access to this particular survey. That's to be handled under this tab right here. You have the option to select different membership categories, organization categories, contact demographics. So this is a great way to limit votes if you have a certain classes of voting membership to make sure only they have access to it. You can also assign individual contacts this way. And well, most surveys reside within the member portal area and have access there to your members. We also give the ability to have a public link. So if you want to take this code, put it into your website or content management system, you can actually have an integrated survey or voting form right on your website hosted by Member365. Once we decide access, next step is going to be the alerts and reminders. So for anybody who's created a survey or questionnaire in the past, really creating those questions is usually the easy part. The hard part is getting to people actually provide that information and take the time to do that. So some ways that we can help prompt your members to actually fill out the form for you. First off are different alerts in the actual dashboard in the member portal area. So these will be the first things that your members see when they log in after you create this survey. We also make it easy for email communication to be sent out to your members once the survey is created as well. So for anybody who has been deemed to have access to this based off their membership category or just individually selected, you're going to have an automated email message sent out that's going to tell them that there's a new survey to be completed and have a link directly to that survey in the member portal area. We also have email reminders. So again, a lot of times it's people forget to fill out that survey, but you want that information. Set up reminders in here. You can choose how many days after you've created they go out, email the subject email, the content to remind them. And as you can see, we've already created one here for survey reminder 5 days after it's been created. We also have an automated submission email that goes out. And in the case that you do have another survey that's tied back to this, you can also link that survey to this follow-up email, or just have a simple thank you that goes beyond the automated thank you after completing. So now I'm going to take the role of that member that we're talking about who attended that conference last week, received that email notification that there was a new survey for me to fill out, and now is following the link. So we're going to land now on the member portal dashboard and take this from a member perspective. So by following that link in their email notification, your member is going to be brought into the form area here of the portal area and be taken to that specific survey, so the Member365 conference survey. This is where we're going to see that welcome message, the instructions for us to fill out this information. And we'll click the green button to start the survey. And now we have full access to those different questions that we create using the form builder. So the first question, how many conferences have we attended? Maybe that was my first. What was my favorite part? I'm pretty preferable to dinner, so maybe that gala dinner was really great. Some suggestions for next year's conference. Maybe open bar. A lot of people like that. And then again, that question at the end. So if you want to collect those picture files from your members and have them submit their own photos they took, you can go in here, choose a file from their computer, and upload it so you can access that as an administrator, maybe add it as a blog post after the fact. So I go and submit that survey. And now we get that thank you message that we create in the survey builder. So I apologize for flipping back and forth, but right now I'm going to go back to the administrative side of the software to show you how you're going to have access to all the analytics for this survey. So we're going to land back on the administrative dashboard here. So anytime you want to check in on that information that's being collected by your survey, you're going to go back under modules here on the upper left-hand side, under forms and analytics. So if you have many different surveys in here and you have to look up a history of those surveys, you can actually just go in and search. Since our Member365 conference survey is right at the top, we can just go through and select it right away. So on this analytics page, it's going to give you a graph breakdown of those multiple choice, radio button, and drop down questions. So for how many years or how many conferences they've attended, graph representation along with their favorite parts. And for those open-ended questions you have for those long answers, you can just go in and actually view the data individually. So here you can see the different responses and the different members that provided that information. You're also able to see details about who has completed that survey for you so far and let them off the hook. And sometimes more importantly, see who hasn't actually filled out that survey yet for you. So you have a full list here that you can either export or reach out to again, persuade them to give you that information. One of the great elements of using our survey platform is that all that information that you're collected is going to be tied back to everybody's contact record who's already a member with you. So for me, since I filled out that survey, I'm going to be able to go back to my contact record and have that full history of any surveys I've completed in the past attached to my record. So where you're going to find that is under those tabs on the left-hand side that encompass that member history, and it's going to be under this survey tab right here. So anytime you want to see what an individual member has completed in the past and how they've answered certain surveys, you can go and click on the specific surveys and get a full list of what those responses are. Awesome. All right, so that's really it for our webinar today. Now I just want to take a chance or a few minutes to go over your questions right now in a question and answer period. Yeah, great question, Greg. So this is really up to you how you want to segment your membership. The most convenient way is going to be to use those contact demographic profiles. So by creating different profiles for those different segments of your membership, so whether they're prospects, whether they're in a certain industry or a certain professional focus, create those different groupings within the database, and you can then select which of those groupings receive those surveys or votes within the survey builder. Exactly, Greg. So you can filter based on the different membership categories, contact demographics, organization information, or just apply access based on individual records. So if you want to add people one by one. No problem, Greg.
I'm Dennis.
Great. And Dennis, sorry, I just saw your question there. So what is the difference between a survey and just creating a form? So for a form, those are mostly going to tie back into the different registration or application processes in Member365. So more or less is just a way to segregate them and have them more easily categorized. The one functionality that the voting and surveys has that the form builder doesn't is those reminder emails that go out. So you can set those templated reminders that go out 5 days, 10 days after, along with the automated thank you notes that go along with them. That's a wrap for me here at the end of the day. As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support staff or to Christine or myself. Christine is also a sales representative here at Member365, and we're always happy to help in any way that we can. All of our contact information is listed there for you to access. Thank you so much for your time today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon and have a great week.